back in the naturopath. Thanks for coming back. Let's talk about leftovers. Is it okay to eat leftover foods? Foods you've cooked and then you place in the refrigerator and you're going to eat them the next day. Right? So the longer you keep food, the higher the chance it's going to harbour bacteria or grow fungal colonies on it if you keep it refrigerated. No matter how good you keep it or preserve it. Unless you can keep it under under pressure with nitrogen in it or some flippin' crazy thing, you're going to get bacteria in there. You're going to get yeast in there. And it is no longer a viable food. Let me read out my notes here. The longer food is kept after cooking, the quicker it loses its nutritional value and the more likely it will start to harbour and grow unwanted bacteria. Just bin it to be on the safe side. It's sometimes not worth it. Some foods I do keep overnight though, in a sealed and clean container for use the following day. And there will be cooked vegetables, cooked potato, which I really like. Potato's nice if it's been cooked. You can chop it up and fry that in some duck fat or some lard. It's very tasty. Cooked meats, the next day can be chopped up and minced. I had a nice piece of lamb that we had roasted up, and it was a huge leg of lamb, and I was left probably with about, I think, 800 to 900 grams of meat, cooked meat, which I minced up the following day, and that became the basis of a beautiful, what the English call shepherd's pie. So that gets cooked again. That meat gets simmered again in onions and stock and garlic and some Worcester sauce, pepper and salt, and then it gets a beautiful potato topping on top, which gets roasted in the oven. And we had that last night, in fact, served with our beautiful garden fresh steamed broccoli. It was a beautiful meal. Now, you'd pay $50 to eat that meal out, but you can do it at home. Anyone can do this at home, right? So that's a good example of how a leftover can be turned into a subsequent meal. And in the old days, that's what happened. When food was left, it was cooked the following day. But don't leave food in the fridge several days. It's not a good idea. Because bacteria typically don't change the taste, smell, or look of food, you can't tell whether it's dangerous to eat or not. Right? So if you're in the slightest doubt about food safety, it's best to throw it out. This is especially so for poultry, for chicken, because it can harbour many kinds of bacteria that can make you pretty sick. Chicken can be a nutritious choice, but raw chicken is often contaminated with Campylobacter bacteria, and sometimes with Salmonella and even Clostridium. The CDC estimates that every year in the United States, over 1 million people get sick from eating contaminated poultry. Now remember, birds have got feathers, so when they pull the feathers out, you've got tiny little pockets there that can easily harbour bacteria. And it's hard to get rid of these bacteria. They stay there. Of course, when poultry is cooked, it's not a problem. But if it's raw, that's why you don't see people eating raw poultry at all. Okay, well, you shouldn't be eating raw poultry. So that's the guts of it, I think. Are leftovers okay to eat? They are. But I don't think I'd be eating even cooked chicken leftover. I'm very cautious when it comes to that. Normally I cook just enough for that meal. And if it is something like meat, I'll make sure, if I want to, that there's some left over for a subsequent meal the following day. But apart from that, I'm very careful with the refrigerator. Keep it clean. Keep an eye on expiry dates, for example. Things like that. All right. Thanks for tuning in.